One of pop music's biggest stars is topping the box office with the most anticipated concert movie of the year.
Plus, our thoughts on this month's roster of prestige pictures and some recommendations for the Halloween season. All this and more on this week's Back to the Movies.
Welcome back to the movies. I'm Julia Werner.
I'm Winston.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about, some movies,
Yeah, old ones, new ones. Not that many new ones, though. I think that this has been the weekend of a lot of old pictures kind of starting to fizzle out in terms of their box office relevance, with one extremely notable exception.
One big exception. Let's talk about those weekend's box office numbers. I mean, number one, Taylor Swift. Coming in $92 million as of today.
Yeah, it really is. That's just that weekend numbers. Once again, it's only showing on weekends from what I hear. It's going to be back on, I think, next weekend. But I think they're missing out on some money because this is like the biggest single weekend for any top movie since the second weekend that Barbie was out. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like, over half of the people who went to cinemas this weekend went to see Taylor Swift.
I sure did. Number two,
dropping
we got
down.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Believer. $10 million. That's a notable drop down from from Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Number three, we both said this is a must see. We were talking about this before the show, and we were like, yeah, joking. They're like, yeah, it's a must see. No, it's actually a must see. Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie. My thoughts are, I like Paw Patrol. Sometimes you'll catch me seeing it, just watching it.
It's
for
not
fun.
bluey.
No, it's a good show. It's a very good show. I think it's nice. I enjoy it. Go see Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie. You might be the oldest person in that room, but you're gonna have a fun time. All right, number 4, Saw X. $5 million.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because Saw used to release their movies like around Halloween, like the weekend before. They've been trying to take the franchise in a bit of a different direction. Even with that last movie, Spiral, they were almost trying to get a little bit more of that indie kind of horror feel, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
But here they're kind of going back to the original formula. Interestingly, the movie's been getting extremely good reviews, which the Saw franchise has almost never gotten, but it's not performing as well as necessarily some of the previous films.
Yeah, I have definitely not seen it. I might go see it closer to Halloween because horror, whatever. But yeah, let's jump into number 5 here. We got The Creator, $4 million. Obviously, that's a big movie with AI. Thinking about that kind of stuff. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but I certainly do like Gareth Edwards' approach at filmmaking, and I like his kind of science fiction slant. It very much has that Star Wars feel, I think, based on all of the promotion. So it's very interesting to see that movie holding in. I don't know whether it's performing above what was expected, but still, it's performing well enough, I think. And then looking at the remainder of the top 10, we have A Haunting in Venice at number 6, The Nun at number 2, which I got to say, really fascinating to see a religious movie doing so well at the box office.
I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, an actual religious movie at number 8 with The Blind, which is once again the Phil Robertson story. And at number 9, we have The Equalizer 3. And at number 10, Dumb Money, which is all about kind of Reddit finance.
It should be there. It should still be on the top. It should still be on the top 10. I'm glad it's holding on.
I will say Hocus Pocus re-release is at number 11. So let's...
Come on. Please don't ruin my shot here. I'm just joking. Recent releases. Some are getting some bumps at the box office. You got, what do we have there, Winston? What do we got there? Give me a quick run through, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts.
Really, what you end up having are a lot of kind of smaller or foreign films that are getting released, because nobody's going to go against Taylor Swift. She just pretty much cleared the deck in terms of all of their releases. Even The Exorcist moved their release week forward a week, so they didn't need to compete with Taylor Swift. But I have some good foreign films. Anatomy of a Fall, which is a interesting kind of legal drama, French legal drama. Also, another great foreign film, Chile 76, which actually came out last year, kind of based about the experience of a doctor during the reign of Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet. So very interesting premise for a film. Some other ones, a documentary about Joan Baez just came out. I Am a Noise, done by Magnolia Pictures. I always love their music documentaries. And then some kind of dark dramedies, Cat Person, not to be confused with the classic horror movie Cat People, and also Divinity, which is like a cyber horror movie produced by Steven Soderbergh.
Nice, not to be confused with Steven Spielberg. Anyways, coming soon, we got a couple movies. You have some written down here that we're looking at, but I mean, the ones I'm excited for, probably Priscilla. A24, I believe. Yeah. A24, Jacob Elordi. I've heard his accent's better than Austin Butler. I will take anything that's better than that Elvis movie that I hate. I will be the first one to say I hate that new Elvis movie. Also, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I want to be. Come on.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because you actually don't need to go out to the cinema to see this one. It's releasing simultaneously in theaters and on the Peacock streaming platform. A great all-star cast from Blumhouse, starring Josh Hutcherson, who's probably best known for being in the Hunger Games movies. Also, Shaggy himself, Matthew Lillard, and Mary Stuart Masterson. So kind of an all-star cast for Five Nights at Freddy's, and we'll only be able to tell if this new video game adaptation is going to be able to perform at the box office as well as the Mario movie.
Yeah, but we can't remiss Martin Scorsese. I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon, that is now, I guess, this weekend having to compete with Taylor Swift, which is going to be absolutely insane. I think that movie, I mean, Martin Scorsese, always cinema, always great. I really enjoy his work. But to compete with Taylor Swift, that's going to be a hard picture. Like, I think I looked on, like, the Marcus Theaters app, and there were 2 movies showing on, like, I think it was Saturday. There was only 2 movies. It was Taylor Swift and Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's never happened before. That's insane.
I mean, it's interesting because a lot of these golden age new Hollywood directors, even like Steven Spielberg, they're not pulling in the same box office numbers that they used to, which is very unfortunate. You know, their movie like The Fabelmans, which came out last year.
That didn't do well.
It didn't do well, and it's a great movie. Or even the remake of West Side Story, which I think wasn't successful for other reasons. But certainly looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So as we're thinking about this, let's take a little bit of time to think about this, but we're going to take a little bit of time to think while we're going into break.
Hi, I'm not Greg Marcus.
And I'm also not Greg Marcus.
And welcome to Back to the Movies.
If you want to watch 2, occasionally 3, college students talk about the movies they love and hate.
Catch a new episode every other Friday on UTVS at 8 p.m. Also available on Vimeo. So please, join us.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to get back to the movies.
Welcome back to the Movies. It's time for us to talk about our own movie thoughts. We're going to start with me, but as tradition, we have to go to our props. So, here's my prop. It is the free poster you get with every viewing of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie at AMC, because I went to an AMC theater to see it. That means I've seen the movie. I've seen Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. I love this movie. I loved the tour. I went to the tour. I went to the movie. Seen both. Kind of was doing a comparison in my head the whole time. What I loved about the tour was the vibe, the energy, being in that big of a space with that many fans. Beautiful. Loved it. The movie, I could sing my heart out, but I was in a very comfortable situation.
Oh, yeah.
Tour was not very comfortable. I was kind of up, sweaty, dancing, whatever. What I loved about the movie, though, was the nuances that you got to see. All of Taylor's little moves you got to see. It was beautiful and lovely, and I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. I took my mom to see it. She's not really a big Swiftie. She's come to see Taylor Swift with me multiple times. She even enjoyed it. She actually really said she liked it. So, Winston, based on my opinions, do you think you'll see it?
You know, I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie. I certainly do like some of Taylor Swift's music, so I'm probably going to be out there. You know, I'm certainly not as big of a fan as you are, but this has been getting rave reviews. Of course, massive showing at the box office, coming back only on weekends as of right now, which is really tremendous. And I think that really this movie, which is directed by Sam Wrench, he's best known for doing like straight to streaming concert films that have really taken off since the beginning of the pandemic. And you've been seeing these programs with artists like Billie Eilish and even Adele, you know, on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And the question has been, can there actually be success at the box office with a concert movie, which really has been the question pretty much since the 2000s.
The answer is yes, though.
Yeah, and interesting, not only with this, but also with the re-release of the Talking Heads concert film, Stop Making Sense, which is doing extremely well for a re-released movie.
Yeah. So continuing on that Taylor Swift train, obviously there's the love and romance of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Aww.
I saw the Jason Kelce, Travis's brother, Travis is in this documentary about Jason Kelce playing for the Eagles. It was all about the Eagles last season. Obviously, we know the Eagles. If you're a sports fan, we know the Eagles and the Chiefs, both Kelce brothers, were in the Super Bowl, so it's kind of about that story. Beautiful documentary. I really enjoyed it. Filmed very well. It was straight to Amazon Prime, so it's a good little movie, good little documentary about his life. Next up, I saw Asteroid City, a Wes Anderson film. I'm a big Wes Anderson fan.
As am I.
Oh, my God. The Grand Budapest Hotel, one of my favorites.
Oh, totally. And Royal Tenenbaum's Fantastic Mr. Fox, Rushmore. I just love those movies.
Yes.
Moonrise Kingdom. Oh,
Also, Asteroid City, beautiful scenery, beautifully shot, as always with Wes Anderson, but stellar cast. I mean, I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson. I've loved her work. I'm also a big Marvel fan, so that might point you in the right direction of where I'm going there. Why I like why I like Asteroid City is because Scarlett Johansson is in it. I love those movies. It reminds me of my childhood. So another movie that kind of reminds me of my childhood in a weird way, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Saw that years ago. Someone introduced me to that movie. For me, it's that ultimate Halloween cult classic. You always think of the showings. They're very interactive showings.
Oh, totally.
Very interactive. Very weird, though.
Yeah.
Strange one.
But I love those kind of glam rock inspired numbers, especially. Just the music's phenomenal. Of course, I think the perfect Halloween musical double feature is Phantom of the Paradise and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes.
Now, that's great.
Yeah.
Great
We got to go see that. We got to go together. Next one. We're in hockey season. We're in hockey season here. Goon. I saw both of them. Specifically, I love the first Goon movie, but I also really like the second one. The second one's what I watched. It was Goon: The Last Enforcers. If you don't know what a Goon is, it's the big guy that punches everybody. Gets in the penalty box, whatever. That's basically what the movie's about. His struggles is as he gets older, can he play? It's kind of the situation a lot of players that we kind of see, those big household names in sports. That's what they're kind of going through right now. But that's all movies that I've seen. Let's talk about series. I saw Loki episode 2. Now, I have thoughts. Thoughts that, I probably can't share because spoiler reasons, but this season of Loki, I have thoughts. Probably not the greatest thoughts. I am currently not enjoying Loki season 2. That's probably...
I haven't watched season 2 yet. I did enjoy season 1 quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, so did I.
I love the interaction between Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. I think Owen Wilson fits so well into kind of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's really surprising they didn't put him in sooner. I liked how that when I saw Ken Hee Kwan in the advert for Loki season 2, because I think that's
he's the only positive, by the way.
It's a fun tie-in, kind of with the multiverse stuff. But I'm gonna wait until the full season's out.
And the last thing I saw, wrapping it up kind of here, Only Murders in the Building, season 3. Great show. I liked the first 2 seasons. Kind of thinking about how, I was like, how are they going to do 3 seasons? was surprised actually how they did season 3. It was an interesting tie up to the kind of universe they're in,
Mhm.
but we're gonna leave it there because we're gonna go back to break. Let's go.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
And we're back to the movies. My name's Winston. It's time for my spotlights. I guess going back to Only Murders in the Building, which we did reference, I just want to get this known to all of you people out there that Martin Short is a national treasure. And yes, I do know he's Canadian. He still is a national treasure. Anyway, another national treasure that we lost relatively recently was Suzanne Summers, who, of course, most people recognize from Three's Company and shows like that from back in the 70s. But also, many people know from this movie right here, American Graffiti, George Lucas's 1973 ode to growing up in the 1950s, the 1960s, all the confusion that accompanies that, and the coming-of-age elements as well. And, of course, Suzanne Summers played the blonde and the T-Bird in that movie. And so I brought my copy of the full double LP right here, as you can all see. It's a gatefold. You get nice clips from inside of the movie. It's a double album, so you get lots of great early rockabilly, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, doo-wop music. Certainly one of the great soundtracks to ever be made for a motion picture. So once again, and I watched it pretty recently because this year marks the 50th anniversary of that movie. So great movie. George Lucas, is so much more than Star Wars, especially those 1970s movies.
What else you been watching, though, Winston?
Okay. Oh, okay. I guess to go to something that's really not horrifying. I'm going to get to that. But I watched a lot of Pride and Prejudice, believe it or not. I've been in a Jane Austen mood, weirdly enough. I don't know. No, I'm serious. I've never seen the 1995 BBC One miniseries, and I had seen the film Sense and Sensibility, which is a Ang Lee film. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Life of Pi. He's a very accomplished director. Also has made some stinkers. But I watched the 2005 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice as well, and I didn't like it as much as Sense and Sensibility, but I will say, in my opinion, the 1995 adaptation is great. There's just so many wonderful understated things, and really can feel the distance of that time period. And I think it's a lot less, dare I say, Americanized, which I liked a lot. Of course, BBC Americanized. We're going to talk a bit more about the BBC probably later on in the program. Okay, now it's spooky time. Also, something that relates to...
Run through them for me.
Yeah. George C. Scott was born on this day in 1927. Great actor. Many people recognize him from Dr. Strangelove, Patton, The Hustler, The Changeling, which is another great scary movie, and since we're talking about The Exorcist, Exorcist Part 3, which came out in 1990, one of the most terrifying movies to ever be made. And George C. Scott is the wonderful type of actor who approaches every type of role he's given with the same kind of class and dignity. It's a wonderful performance. It's a wonderful film. Certainly, I'd say much better than this new Believer movie. Also, the 1994 ABC miniseries based on Stephen King's The Stand I watched. It's very hokey. It's very hokey like most. I mean, Gary Sinise is in it. Molly Ringwald is in it. So some serious hitters for the 1990s. Part 1 was really good. After that, it's kind of losing me. It's showing its age a bit. But anyway, also from the 1990s, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey I rewatched for the first time in a long time. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm serious. It's a fun viewing experience. It's zany, surreal. Primus is in it, which is great. And I really think William Sadler steals the show as the Grim Reaper, based a little bit on Ingmar Bergman's Seventh Seal. Speaking of William Sadler, I've just started watching Tales from the Crypt. The first movie episode from 1989. The episode is entitled "The Man Who Was Death," and really enjoyed it. William Sadler actually plays the main character in that movie, so it's funny because he played the man who was Death, and then he played Death incarnate like 2 years later. So I wonder if there was any intention behind that, but it had a wonderful Western feel, music by Ry Cooder, just a great movie. I guess sticking in 1989, I watched 2 Joe Dante movies. I love Joe Dante, and I watched The Burbs from 1989 and Matinee from 1993, and oh my goodness. I guess if Tales from the Crypt is a bit dark for you, this is some really good kind of. It's still dark, but it's same guy who made Gremlins and all of those wonderful movies, and both have that wonderful atomic age paranoia to them. Richard Ducommun really steals the show in The Burbs. He's a wonderful kind of paranoid neighbor type, and Matinee is a wonderful. It literally takes place during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
You're going over my head on a lot of these.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just I love these movies.
You've got all the old classics. I've got some of the new stuff.
You got Taylor. That's all that matters.
I got Taylor. That's all that matters. Keep going though.
But I have Dick Miller. One of the great kind of underground actors of the time, probably best known for collaborating with Roger Corman and Joe Dante. He pretty much appeared in every single one of his movies, like in Gremlins. He's like the neighbor who like gets like run over like by like the was it, was a snowmobile or
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen Gremlins. Gremlins was for me as a kid way too scary. I was that kid that could not stop crying watching Gremlins. Joe Dante got me, I guess. But it's these movies. I've seen Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I've seen The Burbs before. They're good movies. You're picking some good ones. I really like them. Exorcist Part 3. That's a really good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got some good stuff. Do you know what?
What?
We're going to take a second after this break, looking at the good stuff that's playing in Atwood.
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
Best crowd in college hockey. Best atmosphere in college hockey. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Again, so far, St. Cloud getting an opportunity here. Cooper scores! Turnaround shot, Chelsea. They score!
To guarantee a spot, and we put ourselves in a good spot. There we go.
And we're back. Welcome back. It's back to the movies. Let's dig in right to the topic at hand. Movies that are playing in our Atwood Theater. First up, October 19th to the 21st, Monsters, Inc. How do you feel?
Classic. I mean, it makes me cry. That's a movie that makes me cry. Every time, like, Boo just says, kitty, I bawl my eyes out for the remainder of the credits.
I'm going to just cry. Billy Crystal's singing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have nothing if I didn't have you, and I'm just like, anyways.
And then put that thing back where it came from, or so help me, from the DVD bonus features.
Oh yeah. Next up, November 2nd through the 4th, if you're looking for something to do, Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm. Superhero movie. I'm kind of a bit mixed on it. It was not
a fan. Not a fan.
It was not that great, but I just based on some things that have happened in my personal life, I think the familial beats, like, it had some heart. It had some heart, but the rest of it was kind of just regurgitations of Ant-Man and Shazam and a really bland kind of romance story that came out of nowhere.
Shola's a good actor, but not that good of an actor to fix that mess.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
let's look forward to Cobra Kai and move past that.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're interested in seeing those movies, you can once again see them at Atwood.
Yeah, you can see them in Atwood. Let's talk a little bit though. Let's go this day in history. What was going on October 18th in the past? Winston, what's your first one you got for me?
Well, the funny thing is that, of course, Monsters, Inc., the sequel was Monsters University. That's why I thought University was like, it's Zac Efron's birthday today. High School Musical, that's what I thought high school was going to be like.
Too.
There was no dancing at all.
What? There wasn't dancing in your high school? There wasn't mine.
Oh, well, I'm jealous.
Okay.
I'm jealous.
All right. Another one we talked a little bit about BBC earlier. 1922. The British Broadcasting Company founded that day. It was later then changed over to the British Broadcasting Corporation. So we're thankful for them because they kind of set the stone for us in a way.
We wouldn't have Pride and Prejudice without them, of course.
We wouldn't have
There's
Pride
no
and Prejudice.
Book, of course.
Well, we'd have Pride and Prejudice. It would just be in book form.
Yeah, you'd need to open it up like that.
Yeah, old school.
Maybe Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I should have mentioned that.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's another movie. But
another one. Really quick. Frank Sinatra's show debuts on ABC in 1957. He had full creative control. I don't know if you knew that. Full creative control of that whole show.
I mean, he was the chairman of the board.
He is the chief.
Yeah. One last thing, since it is very Halloween related. In 1935, Peter Boyle was born. Probably recognize him from movies like Taxi Driver, the show Everybody Loves Raymond. He played Frankenstein in Young Frankenstein. Or
That's
Frankenstein.
So that is a good note to end on. So thank you, Winston.
Thank
you, everybody at home. We'll see you next time.
Best crowd in college hockey. Best atmosphere in college hockey. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Is again so far St. Cloud getting an opportunity here. Cooper scores! Turnaround shot, Chelsea. They score!
Efforts to guarantee a spot, and we put ourselves in a good spot. There we go.
Hi, I'm not Greg Marcus.
And I'm also not Greg Marcus.
And welcome to Back to the Movies.
If you want to watch 2, occasionally 3, college students talk about the movies they love and hate.
Catch a new episode every other Friday on UTVS at 8 p.m. Also available on Vimeo. So please, join us.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we have to get back to the movies.